Okay, so good day, everyone. I hope that you are doing well today. Welcome and thanks to join us very much in today's webinar. My name is Giorgia Rossi, and I am the International Sales Manager of Jexcel, a company who is in the global market of 3D technology for more than 10 years. I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, architect Hugo Wilfredo Torres Reina, Restaurosac CEO, with whom we will talk about a huge restoration project carried on in Peru. I think that you guys can see Willy in the webcam, and let me also, okay. Just a brief introduction about Architect Torres. Architect Torres is specialized in the restoration of cultural heritage, and once got the degree and the specialization in restoration of ancient monument at the Politecnico University in Milan. He went back to Peru, volunteering his skills and knowledges to preserve the Peruvian cultural heritage. After 2 years as National Director of Cultural Heritage in Peru, he founded Restaurosac, a company that quickly became a benchmark in the Peruvian historic preservation. So, before we begin, the conference will be in double language, English and Spanish. So Willy will explain everything in Spanish and I will try to translate in English. I apologize in advance if there would be a little bit of delay between what we say and what you see on the screen, because we are in real time and because the network is a little bit overstressed in these days. If you have questions, please use the chat box to submit them. The webinar will be recorded for your reference, so don't worry if you are scared about losing something, because you will receive the record of the webinar at the end of the presentation. We will leave some time at the end for Q&A question. And in case we might not be able to reply to all your questions, please don't worry. We will try to follow up afterwards. Let's move through today's agenda. We will have an introduction of the success case. We will try to underline needs and goal of the project. We will also try to little bit explain the use technology and the workflow that has been applied, and then result and the session of Q&A. So, Willy, please, can you open your mics? Can you join us? Let me see. I am trying to. Okay, I have asked you to open your mics, please.
Okay, ¿se escucha?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, podemos escuchar. We can hear you. Okay, so Willy, can you please introduce today's success case?
Ok, buenos días. Les agradezco por su presencia y por haberme invitado a esta reunión. Hoy día vamos a hablar sobre un proyecto que realicé en el año 2016 en el norte del Perú. Esto se encuentra en la región Piura. En esta parte del país existe una tradición religiosa muy antigua que tiene profundas raíces desde los primeros conquistadores llegados de España en 1533. Esto es el culto de la Virgen de las Mercedes. Paita es un pueblo muy antiguo que aparece como puerto en los primeros mapas del Perú que se publican en Europa, y es aquí que a mediados del siglo XX se decidió construir una basílica que años después se erigió con una capilla decorada por artistas peruanos de mucho renombre. En aquella época, estamos hablando de mediados del siglo XX, la arquitectura y el arte estaban muy compenetrados. Había una simbiosis interesante entre el componente arquitectónico y la parte decorativa. El lugar donde se construye este complejo religioso se llama el Cerro de las Tres Cruces, el cual tiene una conformación geológica de arcillas expansivas que hacen que el terreno se deforme con mucha facilidad.
Okay, so let me try to translate. Today we are going to talk about the restoration project of Basilica Nuestra Señora de la Mercedes of Patia in Peru. That is a site in the Piura region. And this project has been carried on in the 2016. In this part of Peru, there is a very strong religious tradition that finds its origin when the first conquerors arrived in Peru from Spain in the 1532. And this is the Mercedes Virgin cult. And Paita, sorry, is a pier that appears from the first time on the geographical map of Peru in Europe, and around the middle of the 20th century, the population decided to build up a basilica. And some years later, they decided also to build up a chapel that has been decorated by some famous paintings and some famous artists from Peru. Some years later, people decided also to build up the religious complex whose name is Cerro Tres Cruces, or the complex of the three crosses. And I think that the main things is that this area has a very particular composition of the soil, because it is made up mainly by some kind of moistures that has the characteristic to that can deform their self very easily. Okay. Okay, Willy?
Okay. El complejo religioso de la Virgen de las Mercedes está compuesto por tres estructuras construidas en diferentes momentos. La basílica, conformada por 4 paraboloides hiperbólicos, la capilla de las Tres Cruces y un edificio posterior destinado para alojar a los peregrinos.
Okay, so the building is composed by 3 structures: the basilica, which is composed by 4 parabolas hyperbolicas, and the Tres Cruces chapel, and one building that originally hosted the pilgrims.
La basílica tiene aproximadamente 1.300 metros cuadrados de construcción y es una estructura conformada por 4 paraboloides de concreto. La antigua iglesia de Paita, dedicada al culto de la Virgen de las Mercedes, fue incendiada en varias ocasiones por piratas que asolaron esta parte del país. Entre ellos, uno fue Sir George Anson, y el culto a través de los siglos ha ido creciendo, de tal forma que decidieron construir esta enorme basílica que se pudiera divisar desde el cielo y desde el mar.
The basilica is around 1,300 square meters, and it is composed by 4 parabolas hyperbolicas in concrete. The ancient church of Paita, dedicated to the Mercedes Virgin, has been fired up several times by the pirates, and one of them was Sir George Anson. The cult sensibly grown up during the centuries, and for this reason, the population decided to build up this basilica that symbolically divides the land and the sea. So a huge and complex site, but let me have a question, please, because I think that our audience as well would like to understand a bit more about this project. So, Willy, can you quickly describe the status of the art of the buildings when you enter inside?
Sí, el proyecto de rehabilitación de la Basílica de Nuestra Señora de las Mercedes de Paita se basó en un estudio muy profundo sobre el estado situacional, que incluía suelos, incluía las estructuras, instalaciones y la arquitectura misma. Para eso se contó con un equipo interdisciplinario que consistió en especialistas de rehabilitación estructural, geólogos, historiadores del arte y expertos en restauración del patrimonio arquitectónico. El resultado fue que la Basílica de la Virgen de las Mercedes y la Capilla de las Tres Cruces se habían construido en un terreno rico en arcillas expansivas que son muy deformables cuando hay presencia de humedad. Los principales problemas encontrados fueron fracturas y deformaciones en pisos y en muros. Para poder entender nosotros el estado situacional del edificio o de los edificios mismos, se hizo una investigación histórica que arrojó datos muy importantes sobre el proyectista, que era casi desconocido, el proyecto y también sobre el momento constructivo. Adicionalmente a la investigación, digamos, de archivo, se hicieron exploraciones in situ, hicimos 15 calas de exploración entre cimentaciones y estructuras para comprender mejor el comportamiento de las edificaciones. Y estas exploraciones nos arrojaron información sobre las deficiencias que habían a nivel de cimentación.
The restoration project has been based on the deep study of the status of the art of the building, considering its floors, structures, facilities, and architecture. A team composed by different experts work on this project, engineers, geologists, art historians, and experts in the restoration of architectural heritage. The basilica and the chapel were built on soil made by expensive clays, as we said before, which make it highly deformable due to the presence of moisture. So the main problems were cracks and deformations in floors and walls. In order to better understand the general status of the building, a historical investigation was carried on, linking all the information found. In addition to this, 15 explorations were made in foundation and structures to better understand the behavior of the buildings. These explorations revealed some deficiencies at the foundation level.
Uno de los más preciados bienes de la basílica son los vitrales diseñados por el artista vienés Adolf Winternitz. Estos vitrales fueron diseñados en Perú y luego fabricados en Suiza por la firma Pierre Chiara & Company de Luzón entre el año 1971 y 1973. Esta es la segunda obra más grande de este artista después del Teologado de los Padres Dominicos en Alcobendas, Madrid. Winternitz es uno de los artistas más importantes e influyentes en el Perú del siglo XX.
One of the most precious elements of the basilica is the stained glass windows designed by the Vienna artist Adolf Winternitz. The stained glass windows were made in Switzerland by the firm Pierre Chiara and Cie from Lausanne, in Switzerland, between 1971 and 1973. This is the second largest work after the Theologate of the Dominican Fathers in Alcobendas in Madrid. Winternitz is one of the most influential and most important artists in Peru of the 20th century.
Los vitrales fueron construidos en Suiza y transportados en barco hacia el Perú. Pesan 26 toneladas y se tuvo que diseñar una estructura metálica para poder colocarlos sobre los muros, los cuales no estaban diseñados para resistir este peso.
The stained glass windows were built in Switzerland and transported by boat to Peru. Their weight is around 26 tons, and a metallic structure had to be designed to be able to place them on the walls, which were not designed to withstand the weight. So I am not really able to estimate the total weight of the structure. That's incredible that a structure like this has not been collapsed, I would add. But by the way, Willy, you talk also about the Church of the Tres Cruces, which is its unicity, if you could underline it.
La Capilla de las Tres Cruces fue construida en concreto armado en los años 80 y fue totalmente decorada en su interior con mosaicos por otro artista peruano de mucho renombre que se llama Víctor Delfín, el cual aún está vivo. La presencia del fenómeno del Niño y un inadecuado sistema de desagüe pluvial hizo que el terreno se humedeciera y por la esbeltez del edificio, así como la altura de sus placas que soportan las cruces, este comenzó a inclinarse y aparecieron grietas y fracturas en el piso.
The Chapel of the Three Crosses of the Tres Cruces was built in reinforced concrete in the 18th and was totally decorated inside by a famous Peruvian artist, Victor Delfin, who is still alive. The presence of the phenomenon called El Niño and an inadequate rainwater drainage system caused the water saturation of the soil. For this reason, plus the slenderness and the height of the structure, the building began to lean and cracks and fractures appeared on the floor. So that's cool. In order to understand the status of the art and also where is located the building. So let's move a bit more in details in the core of the story. Which have been the needs and the goals of the activities done? ¿Cuáles han sido las necesidades y los objetivos de las actividades realizadas?
Bueno, se necesitaba mucha información precisa, de mucha calidad, que nos pudiera situar geográficamente en el contexto, pues habían zonas que tenían poca accesibilidad. Necesitábamos información que nos indicara las características constructivas y el grado de deformación de la geometría. Era indispensable saber a priori si los edificios podrían ser rehabilitados o no. Eso era uno de los objetivos.
Very precise and high quality information were needed. We had to understand the geographical context. Since there were areas with little accessibility, the construction characteristics and the level of deformation of the buildings. It was also essential to know wherever structurally the buildings could be rehabilitated or not. So, which kind of technology and instrument, Willy, did you use in your project?
Para el levantamiento geográfico utilizamos un láser escáner a una precisión de 4x y obtuvimos un modelo tridimensional en muy poco tiempo. Luego, necesitábamos entender la relación del contexto geográfico con los edificios y por ello decidimos utilizar un dron, el cual nos arrojó datos muy interesantes.
So we used a laser scanner with a laser scanner with a resolution of 4x, and we got quickly a very accurate 3D model. it was necessary to considering the buildings inside the complete geographical context. And for this reason, we have used a drone.
Luego utilizamos cámaras termográficas para poder ver el grado de deterioro de las estructuras y la continuidad de los materiales, así como la dispersión térmica de los mismos.
And to better understand the level of decay and the material's characteristic, as well as the thermodispersion, we used a thermocamera. So, of course, to have the complete and deep knowledge of a building, different techniques have been used. But how long does the activity take? I mean, how long does the activity take both on site and also at the office for the post-processing?
Bueno, el levantamiento se hizo en una semana de campo aproximadamente, porque solamente se podía trabajar por las mañanas, pues el viento es muy fuerte en las tardes y cuando las estructuras están muy calentadas, digamos, se dilatan y no nos pueden dar datos precisos. Así que la cantidad de trabajo utilizada fue las mañanas de una semana. El trabajo de postprocesamiento duró aproximadamente 2 semanas.
The laser scanner survey has been done in around 1 week, and Willie underlined that they could work only during the morning because of the wind and especially because of the high level of temperatures. The processing time took around 2 weeks. The workflow, I can try to describe it, consists in importing all the data in Reconstructor software. Ferrostatic laser scanner data have been directly imported in Reconstructor, and thanks to the capability of Reconstructor to import directly the raw data and also coloring the point cloud using the internal camera of the laser was really easy to have the point cloud. The UAV point cloud, once imported in Reconstructor, has been automatically registered together with the static scans. And thanks to the automatic targetless registration that speeded up all the entire alignment process. 2 computers have been used in order to speed up the data process. And thanks to the automatization of the software, it is also possible to work simultaneously on more stations, increasing the global work performance. The other advantage is that Reconstructor is a very user-friendly software from which, as we will explain later, they could get the complete 3D model and then reproject thermal images acquired, create high resolution texturized model, run some deformation analysis, extract 2D orthophotos and X-ray, and different kind of 2D drawings. So one of the first we can say result that has been got was the complete 3D model. And I have a question for Willie, because Willie, you said that the thermal analysis have been carried on the building surfaces, but how did you use them? Can you explain a little bit more?
Sí, gracias por la pregunta. La termografía vista en un contexto tridimensional nos permite tener una mejor lectura del edificio para su propio diagnóstico. Y el software Reconstructor tiene unas funciones específicas que permiten poner imágenes externas, sean tomadas con una cámara fotográfica panorámica en perspectiva o con una cámara termográfica. Entonces podríamos tener modelos tridimensionales termográficos. En esta edificación había muchos muros de ladrillo con cimentación pobre y superficial. que debían ser reemplazados por otros de cimentación más profunda. Es por ello que se escogió utilizar termografía al infrarrojo para determinar la ubicación y la cantidad de vigas y columnas que podrían y a veces deberían ser reemplazadas.
The thermography, in a three-dimensional context allows to have a better understanding of the buildings for its diagnosis. Reconstructor software has the capability to map any kind of external image, panoramic, perspective, thermical, onto the 3D model. In this building, there were many brick walls with a poor and very superficial foundation that had to be replaced by others with a very deep foundation. This is the reason why infrared thermography was used to define the location and numbers of beams and or columns that they had to be replaced. Sorry, okay, so coming back to our project, the chapel of the three cruces of the Tres Cruces is covered internally by wonderful mosaics we have seen before the picture. Willy, how did you map these pictures, these mosaic pictures on the model?
Tener ortografías en alta resolución de las superficies decoradas de esta capilla nos permitió en una primera instancia llevar un registro adecuado de los mosaicos, y durante la obra pudimos monitorear el estado de conservación de los mismos. Además, por la geometría compleja de estos edificios, nos permitió desarrollar planos en CAD de alta precisión con un ahorro considerable de tiempo y de esfuerzo.
The same function enables to drop external pictures onto the models. This function that we have seen before for the thermal camera has been used to create high-resolution texturized ortho image. Having high-resolution orthophotos of the decorated surfaces allowed at first to keep an adequate record of the mosaics, and during the work to be able to monitor their state of conservation. In addition, due to the complex geometry of the buildings, it allowed to develop high-precision CAD drawings with considerable saving in times and in efforts. Willy, you explain how the glasses windows stress the wall structure. How did you analyze this behavior? Can you detail a little bit more, please?
Sí, los edificios presentaban problemas de deformaciones graves en muros y pisos, los cuales fueron evidentes con las primeras ortofotos generadas a modo de secciones. Con esta información se pudieron hacer las primeras hipótesis sobre el comportamiento estructural del edificio mismo. Con la herramienta Inspection que tiene Reconstructor, se pudo determinar los grados de desplomes que tenían los muros, los cuales afectaban de forma evidente a los vitrales que se sostenían sobre ellos, lo cual nos hizo tomar la decisión de su desmontaje inmediato, y fue, creo yo, una de las decisiones más importantes del proyecto.
The buildings presented deformation problems in floors and walls, which were evident with the first orthophotos generated as sections. With this information, the first hypothesis about structural behavior of the building could be made. With the inspection tool, that is a fantastic features inside the Reconstructor software, it was possible to define the degrees of collapse in walls, which obviously affected the stained glass windows that were supported on them, which made the team make some decision on their immediate dismantling. And this will be, in a certain way, one of the most important things of all the project. One of the main goals of a restoration project is defining the geometries of the object, because I think that all the people who work in restoration know that the survey that the knowledge of the geometry is one of the main things to do, because all the further mapping of material decay, structural status will be done on this drawing. So, Willy, how did you get the 2D CAD drawings?
Las ortofotos proporcionaron material muy valioso para trabajar. Estas fueron después exportadas en AutoCAD para generar las vistas en 2D de plantas, cortes y elevaciones. Reconstructor te permite exportar directamente ortofotos a AutoCAD, gracias a un archivo inteligente script que te permite importar los datos en una posición correcta y a una escala factorial. La precisión y alto detalle de la documentación ha sido de mucho impacto en la toma de decisiones proyectuales.
So the orthophotos have been a key output that sensibly support the job. The orthographic views easily created in Reconstructor have been exported in AutoCAD to generate 2D views of plans, sections, and elevations. Reconstructor enables to export directly orthophotos to AutoCAD thanks to a smart script file that allows to import the data directly in the right position and factor scale without passing through the import raster and then scale and so on. And the precision and high details of documentation has had a great impact on the project decision making. This is the same workflow has been applied also to extract the facade. So from the orthographic view extracted from Reconstructor, all the redrawing has been extracted, and then this is one of the facade that has been redrawn by Willy's team. All the facade have been extracted in this way, so we can see also other part of the building with the same workflow that has been adapted, and the same has been done also for the Tres Cruces chapel. So starting from the orthographic view of the plant, it has been created the CAD drawing, and then the same for the facade. So starting from the orthographic view of the facade, it has been extracted all the CAD drawing in order then to compose all the project drawing. And I think that I like this picture because you can see how it's not straight, right, Willy? It's not
Sí.
on plumb.
Justamente esta foto nos hizo ver que toda la estructura se había inclinado monolíticamente hacia un costado. Y obviamente, si bien la estructura misma no había fallado el suelo, ¿no?
Yes, exactly. So, yes, Willy underlined that the structure here is definitely not straight. You can see that is tilt, and he decided to add this picture to the presentation because really you can really feel the deformation and the structural behavior of the building. So that's I really like this picture for this reason. So here we have also the CAD drawing, because of course everything has been then translated into 2D CAD that have been used later for material map and all the other analysis. Here the final drawing with also some pictures. And I think that we have almost reached the end of our today's webinar. I'd like, first of all, to thanks Willy to have experienced some of the function of Reconstructor. That is a complete tool set to process point cloud and meshes that increases productivity and makes working on your 3D data more enjoyable, I hope. And so Reconstructor has a little bit for everyone. And what we add is that you can also share and navigate your Reconstructor project with colleagues and clients. You can visualize and investigate the 3D project, for example, of Paita Basilica using the free Reconstructor viewer that can be downloaded from our website, as well as all the orthophotos that, for example, Willy has extracted during the project elaboration can be navigate and visualize in the Go Blueprint. That is a free viewer that you can use to share, but also to visualize, navigate, and investigate your data also on site. Of course, if you want to experience some of the features that Willy has explained and has used during his project elaboration, you can download the trial of Reconstructor from our website. It works for 30 days and you can experience all the features explained: section extraction, inspection for model comparison, and color map. So I think that we have seen how Reconstructor could be considered a software platform in which you can integrate different data, as Willy has done, UAV, static laser, images all together. And I want to really thank Willy for joining us, giving the opportunity to experience this wonderful project in Peru. And now, guys, I think that we really come to the end, but stay with us because we have some times for Q&A. And of course, Willy will be pleased to reply to your questions that are coming up. In case you might have some other curiosity or something like that, do not hesitate to contact us. So, Willy, I have some question for you.
Okay.
Ok. ¿Cómo te ha ayudado Reconstructor por hacer un trabajo más rápido?
Bueno, antes que nada quiero decir que con Reconstructor el equipo de gente se reduce considerablemente. El levantamiento lo hice yo solo durante una semana por la mañana y la restitución de datos fue muy veloz también. Entonces, digamos que obtenemos información de muchísima calidad en muy poco tiempo, utilizando mínimos recursos.
Okay, Willy underline how Reconstructor speeded up all the process because he did the survey by himself alone on the site, and having a software platform that could speed up your post-processing, that, as we know, the post-processing is always the key part of a job. It's really something that could be really helpful. Una pregunta sobre, one question about the function of the inspection. Una pregunta sobre la función de la inspección. ¿Puedes explicar cómo trabaja y si se puede utilizar para comparar los modelos 3D?
Sí, claro. Inspection es una herramienta que genera un plano perfecto a 90 o a 0 grados, depende de la superficie que quieras analizar, y lo compara con la superficie que tú has levantado o has relevado. Entonces te va a dar una superficie una comparación topográfica, entre comillas, en la cual puedas tú ver los grados de deformaciones de las superficies, comparadas obviamente con un plano perfecto. En el caso de que tú comparases con hicieses la comparación entre un proyecto hecho en BIM y lo construido, se puede también hacer. O sea, puedes importar tú un proyecto dentro de Reconstructor y compararlo con lo que has levantado para ver si es que hay diferencias en cuanto a desplomes o en cuanto a deformaciones o en cuanto a deficiencias constructivas.
Okay, I try to translate. The function of inspection is available in Reconstructor, and it allows to compare models. In this specific case, has been used building a reference plane, a vertical reference plane, because the goal was to inspect the glasses windows. And so starting from a reference plane that in this way, in this case, has been totally vertical, but you can set it as your convenience. This reference plane has been compared to the point cloud in order to the model in order to define and yes, to underline the main difference. This inspection can be run also between models themselves. For example, if you have a BIM model and you want to make a sort of as-built test design analysis, you can compare your as-built point cloud together with the BIM models. And in this way, you can see and reveals the main differences. Okay, I have here a question. Does Reconstructor support DXF import and export format? Willy, if you want, I can reply. Si te gusta, puedo replicar directamente a
Sí,
esta
claro,
pregunta.
por supuesto.
Okay, yes, Reconstructor supports DXF, and DXF has polylines and meshes as well, so you can import inside the software, and you can also export directly, so you don't have to do anything else. There is the direct importation and direct exportation. I think that we have just a little bit of time for the last question. Willy, how did you integrate UAV data with your Reconstructor? ¿Cómo has podido alinear el dato UAV con el dato estático en Reconstructor?
Bueno, Reconstructor es un software que es muy amigable y no usamos targets, simplemente se reconocen las superficies entre sí y con muy pocos pasos puedes lograr alinear o registrar diferentes datas obtenidas por diferentes instrumentos, sea, digamos, un láser escáner con una nube de puntos hecha por un dron.
Ok, perfetto, voy a traducir. Sì, we can register the data of the UAV together with the TLS, and because Reconstructor, Willy explained that he did not use target, but they used this possibility that Reconstructor has to register the different scans using an automatic targetless registration. So based on the overlapping of common parts between the cloud. Really the last question, I can reply to this, where I can buy the software. Okay, you can buy the software directly from us, or you can contact your local dealer. So that's all. I have just some really positive comment for Willy, because people here say really thank you, and they are very happy to have listening to your explanation. So really, I think that now we really come to the end. I really thank you. I really thanks Willy to have been with us today and to have present his project. I hope that, or better, we are organizing something new on another project, but join us, and you will have more information on that. If you want to know more, you can contact directly Willy. Here is his email address. He would be pleased to provide more details. And so really, thank you very much. Thanks again, Willy. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
And so I wish a nice day to everyone, and thanks again to join us. Muchas gracias, Willy.
Gracias a ustedes. Hasta luego.
Ciao.
Chao.